You know, either you're gonna support me or it's okay, I'm gonna make you. You know, like you're gonna support me or you're gonna accept that this is me because I've been hiding too long and I'm so comfortable being who I am now.
What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another fiery hot topic on this episode of Q Babies. As you see, we have a guest once again who is going to surprise y'all with some of the things we're talking about. But as always, we want to come with all the topics that are hard to talk about and that the church wants to overlook, because at the end of the day, we all are human. We all deserve to speak and have a voice so that we can have more understanding.
Exactly.
And today our guest is Miyonnee. Miyonnee. And we thank you for coming today.
It's my pleasure.
And I know y'all saying, well, what's she doing there? What's this topic going to be about? Today's topic is going to be entitled A Transparent View. Now I'm going to be quiet so y'all can just get ready. Staple your wigs down a little bit tight. Sit back in the chair and get ready, because we're going to go for a ride. So you may be saying, but what they talking about, a transparent view? Well, you know, we know that the word has transparency all the way through it, and the word is very transparent. But today we wanted to give a different transparent view from Miyonnee, and that's because Miyonnee is a transgender. And I know y'all saying, oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, that's exactly what's going on this episode. We know that the LGBT, we try to do an episode on this every season. You already know about me. I put it all out there before y'all. So I'm trying to help y'all gauge and get more understanding when it comes to the community, because if you really want to reach us and you really want to understand us, you have to hear us and talk to us. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm just going to open up with a quick scripture and then we're going to dive right in. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
All right, so scripture we're going to be using today is 1 Corinthians chapter number 3, verses 18 through 23, and it reads, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seeming to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Therefore, let no man glory in men, for all things are yours, whether Paul, Apollos, or Cephas, or the world, or life, or death, or things present, or things to come, are all yours, and ye are Christ's, and Christ is God's. So that's saying we all God's people. Sit on that, because I know some of y'all bitter already and ready to turn the episode off. But at the end of the day, we are all God's people, and we all deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. And if you want to be able to have a better understanding and really draw people, then you need to keep watching this episode.
That's it.
So after that being said, Miyonnee, how about you just introduce yourself and tell us some things, and we'll go from there.
Well, my name is Miyonnee. Well, I'm an artist first and foremost. I'm gonna start there. So my artist name is Miyonnee Sateek.
Okay.
This is my first and my middle name.
All right.
I'm 34. I'm an activist in the community. I also am an intervention specialist for the Community Wellness Project. We specialize in HIV, STD outreach and prevention, but we do like a plethora of other things, like hypertension classes, diabetes classes, teaching our community how to live well with whatever issue that may be, whether it's financial stability or, like I said, hypertension, diabetes, HIV, you know, whatever. I'm super cool. I used to really be into church like a lot when I was younger.
And we was going to ask you that. So
yeah, like I used to be into the church a lot when I was younger, but like as I got older and when I became more into myself, yeah, it just didn't become, you know, for me. Like actually physically going to church wasn't for me anymore, but I'm still, God is all over me, all through me, so regardless of what I do in my background. But I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
And I appreciate you for having me.
No problem.
We're glad to have you.
It's my pleasure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So I would say, going on, we'll start there since you're up there. So you said you started off in church. So were you raised in church by
my
family?
God. Yes.
Start
little bit of that
Yes, like when my grandma was alive, my mother's mom, it was like, do we gotta be in church all the time?
So you was
baby.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to go home and do other stuff than church.
Right.
How many times were you at church during the week?
But at least all day. Like, it seemed like every day we was at church. And it seemed like, girl, I don't want to be here.
Right.
I wanna go. It's okay.
Can I go play?
Yeah, because when I was little, y'all, when people got the Holy Ghost, I used to cry. It used to scare me so bad. What's wrong with me? Like it used to scare me so bad. So that was one reason why I'm like, I don't want to go there. They get to doing that crazy dancing, Grandma, because I'm like I don't want to go there. But but what kept me there was the music. Okay. Like I like to sing, my whole entire mom's side, like we're all musically inclined.
Okay.
Whether it's instruments or vocals, whatever it is, we all love music. So like it would be like, yeah, I don't want to be here, but as soon as they start singing, I'm here. I'm present. I could be asleep, I could be doing whatever, but as soon as they start singing, I'm present for it. So that's what kept me like in the church. I just wanted to sing. When I became a part of the choir, I'm like, look, I don't care what y'all can run around here and crazy dance all you want to. Just let me sing and everything.
Crazy dance.
That's what I called it as me. And it really scared me when I saw my mama do it for the first time. Oh, I took off running around the whole church. I'm in tears. They thinking I'm shouting with them.
They think you had caught the crazy dance
I am
too.
scared. I'm trying to get out of here. My mama, y'all done got her in the crazy dance. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that's how it started.
And I think it's very important to point out one thing that you just mentioned already. You said music is what drew you.
Absolutely.
And that's something that churches and people and leaders need to understand. Different things draw different people.
Exactly.
What drew you may not draw me. What might draw me might not draw the next person. And that's why music is such an important influence. And when it comes to church and trying to draw youth and such, because if you got some jacked up music, you wouldn't have wanted to go on.
I would have been staying asleep.
Mama, take me home.
Yeah.
They got bad music. I don't even want to be bothered.
See, that's why you got to go to
and
rehearsal.
See, I'm like, they can't sing. Like, what are they doing?
We do that anyway.
Exactly.
Like, ooh, they sound mad.
If it's a chop, it's a chop.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are absolutely correct.
See, that's why y'all got to go to rehearsal and show up on time.
On time.
And we was even there for that. Like, we used to be, it was like all the
So
time.
you really are Pew Baby.
Yeah, like we were at church all the time. My great grandmama, my grandmom, like the whole entire family. My aunt Dorothy. If I'm not mistaken, her husband was the pastor at Friendly Temple for years.
Okay, but we know Friendly Temple.
And like that was their church. Well, after I was a kid, so I don't remember, but I know it's in Wellston, that big white church that's sitting in Wellston behind the it's like everything abandoned in Wellston, basically.
Right. That's why I'm going in my mind like
St. Bethel or something like that. I think it's like a big white church, and it's right behind where they used to sell the burgers at, where the trolley or something used to come.
I think I know where you're
right behind that washer. It's like a laundromat there, and then it's a side street where the PNC Bank at now.
If I'm not, I don't know the name of the church, but I know where you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think it was Bethel AIM or Bethel
So that's
A&E.
where you used to go.
Yeah, that's where we used to go. But then after that, we went to Friendly Temple.
Okay.
And yeah, so like we were there up until I was probably like till my grandma passed away, and that was I was 7.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after that, I just stopped going over there because I was scared to go over there when my grandma passed away.
Okay.
why were you scared?
Cause I was weird as a kid. Like, my first time actually seeing a dead body was my grandma, so like I was terrified, like, okay, I don't know what's going on, and I would have bad dreams that like she was a witch, or she was trying to get me, and my mom was like, well, your grandma would never do that, and I knew that, but as a child, it's my dream, I'm scared, so... and my great grandmother and my grandmother lived together in the same house. My grandma had the upstairs and she had the downstairs, so if I did go over there, I would never go upstairs. I was an adult when I finally went back up there.
After she passed.
Yeah, but it was just, trauma, for me. Like, I don't want to go here. It's sad now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't go back over there, for a long, long time.
And that's understandable because death impacts everybody differently, and
Exactly.
especially if it was something traumatic that sticks with you as you continue to move forward. I know about that myself.
Yeah,
So
way too much.
Yeah,
Way too much.
but that's very understandable. So moving forward, then, so you have a church background. How did the lifestyle, far as LGBT, transgender, all of that, how did that you get introduced? How did that come into play?
I always knew that I was different. You know, growing up.
And
would
how
always
long
say,
before back? Not to cut you off, I'm sorry.
well, like my mom said, she knew since I was 2. She said, "Girl, you know how to walk in heels and put on eyeliner, mascara better than me at 2 years old."
Wow.
So she was like, I already knew, but you know, at that time, like homosexuality, all of that stuff was very secret. It was
Yes.
very closet.
Yes.
So it was like when we did see it, it's like, oh my God, what is that? You know, I didn't know. I started noticing that I was different when I got, I'll say middle school, because I knew I wasn't masculine like all the other guys. Like I didn't want to do nothing that all the other, absolutely nothing that all the other guys wanted to do. And they would be like, "Man, you gay?" And I'd be like, "Well, how?" You know, like, no, I'm not. I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
When I was 12, I had my first, well, I was molested when I was 9, but that, you know, don't count. When I was 12, I had my actual first encounter, willing encounter.
But the
with
9
guy.
introduced you to
Yeah, it introduced me to what it was, but I just knew that whatever it was, I didn't want that.
Okay.
You know, so when I had my first encounter when I was 12, and I was like, I think I like boys now. You know, like that was fun. You know, I didn't start transitioning until I was 21.
Okay.
I just lived my life. I came out I'm moving too fast. I came out when I was 15. My little brother snitched on me. Snitch. He snitched on me. He saw me kiss my boyfriend. I don't know how, because I tried my best to hide it from him. But he saw me kiss my boyfriend. Me, him, my mama sitting at the table eating dinner. And he just like, "Yeah, mama." My biological name is Darren. He's like, "Darren kissed the boy." And I'm like,
That's how you gonna do me?
"Nigga.
Just out of
like,
nowhere.
Right.
What did I do to you?" Like,
Right.
you know, I always got your back, bro. What's up?
Right,
And
right.
How did your mom take it?
she was on the phone, and she was like, "Is that true?" She was like, "I'm gonna call you back." And I'm like, Mom, he lying, you know. And I don't know what it was, but I said, I went downstairs and I said, "Well, you know what? He done told her I'm tired of hiding it." So I wrote her a letter. I wrote her a long letter, like, "Yeah, Mama Kentrell ain't lying, whoop-de-wop-de-wop," you know. And then she got back on the phone. I set the letter in front of her, and I went in the bathroom and started cutting my hair. And then, she came in the restroom, and was just like, is this real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's real," you know, all of that. And she was like, when I first told her, she said, "I will never accept that, but I'll accept you because you're my child." But immediately after that, it was like I just went instantly into, as what society would call it, is queening out. Like, I'm talking about flaming her red, orange hair and tight clothes and, you know, all of that stuff. And I would still be in my, you know, like facial hair and stuff like that. But I just would wear purses and I started shopping in the girl section. And for them, like for her and my brother, that was way too much. Like, it was too much too soon. And it made me feel like, well, you said that you would support me. This is me. So, you know, either you're going to support me or it's okay, I'm going to make you. You know, like, you're going to support me or you're going to accept that this is me, because I've been hiding too long and I'm so comfortable being who I am now.
And with the time period, I think it's good to explain so that people understand. You know, like you said, the time period, how things are more accepted now.
Yeah.
You know, if you gay, that's the new fad today.
Oh my God.
Versus back then, you know, the scariest person for anyone to find out, and I'm probably sure you agree with me, was my mother, because I knew that's mama.
Yeah.
And that's the one whose opinion I really value and care about the most.
I think for me, it was my sperm donor.
And that's what I call mine as well, so I can understand.
For me, I was more scared of him than anything. Like,
so your dad was in your life?
Kinda.
What's kind of?
Well, he was there. I hate that we got to talk about him. But anywho,
we can talk
no, we can talk about it because he was my daddy was on crack when him and my mom even conceived me. My mom had sex on her 15th birthday. Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, here I come. And he was already getting high then. My dad continued to get high all the way up until like his 20s. So like my early years, he was getting high. He didn't want a kid. He was in my life, but he wasn't. And then when he was, like, all of the memories that I have of him are bad. You know, so it's like he was in my life, but it was some kind of trauma that was attached to it. You know, so I try to block a lot of that, or I have blocked a lot of that stuff out.
I know how you feel.
Like my daddy used to take me over people's house to beat me. Now he always knew that I was gay, and he was like, when I got older, we had a conversation. I didn't understand it at the time, but when I got older, we had a conversation, and he said, well, I was just trying to beat the gay out of you. He would beat me. He would take me to people's house so that they can beat me. Like, I just felt like, damn, I used to get beat up at school. I was the only child for 10 years, you know, so I used to get jumped on at school. Then I come home, I'm getting fussed at my mama. Then I go over there, I'm getting beat up by him. I'm getting beat up by everybody else. And I'm just like, oh my God, this can't be what life is about. You know, at this age. But at a young age, no matter how much he would beat me and how bad he would do, I still would yearn for that. That's my dad. You know, I don't care. Beat on me, Dad. I love you.
And I'm glad you brought this up, and not to cut you off, because that's something that people don't understand. Everyone has backstories from when they came out, and you know, you have some families that are accepting. You have some, like your daddy's, trying to beat the gay out of them. That is a real thing that I have talked to, you know, different friends that I haven't associated where they have experienced that, and that is something. And people, you need to know, it's not going to change anything.
Not a thing.
It's going to make you possibly go more. You said not a thing at all.
Not a thing, because look at her.
And I mean, you know, because, you know, at that moment, it's a temporary fix. But it's not doing anything at all. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because people definitely need to understand that.
Absolutely.
So can I ask one question?
Absolutely.
You just said a second ago that you were afraid to tell him. Is that the reason why you were afraid, because of that traumatic experience and relationship that you all had?
I was. I absolutely believe so, because I knew, in my mind, I felt like I didn't understand it quite like I understand it now, but now I can say, me being who I was, I didn't know that it was such, you know, a bad thing at that time. My dad was as I got older, he was less in my life, and I was still scared. You know, like this man moved.
He left an imprint.
Yeah, like he moved across to California for, I'll say, about 10 years. I didn't hear from him, not a call, not a nothing. Life was sweet when he was gone. And then I was 18 at this time in my own apartment. I'm at the grocery store, and then boom, he just pop up. Him and my little sister, and I'm like, I'm in drag too. I compete in balls. And I had just had a ball the day before, and I was at that time I walked a category called Drag's Realness, and it's basically like what boy can get in drag.
No, explain it to me.
It's like basically what you live your life as a guy every single day, and then for this one night you get in drag, and who looks the most passable in drag for this one night.
And passable means more like a woman.
Yes, and I dominated the category for years.
Tears across the board.
And I was just, you know, at the grocery store shopping, looking cute, and then my little sister run up and hug me, and I'm like, girl, who is this hugging on me? And I'm like, who are you? And I'm looking like, damn.
So had you met her before?
I have, but I hadn't seen her since she was little. Like he took her. She was the only one. My daddy got like 6, 7 kids out here, and she was the only one that he raised, because her mama was a crackhead. So he like, well, I found this stuff out later when we had that talk. Well, I feel like you had a mama, so you had somebody to take care of you, and you ain't need me, because I wouldn't, you know, basically I didn't want you. That's exactly what he told. I didn't want you. I didn't want none of my kids. I got a sister that's older than me. She never met him. Ever. Don't care to either.
Well, that's understandable.
Yeah, like she's never met him, don't care to. And like he just flat out told us, I didn't want to have no, I didn't want to raise you. All the time, I didn't beat myself up for years. Was it me? What did I do? What? Why? And it was him. He just didn't want to have kids. Now, I accept that. I still get sad a little bit because it's my dad. I would absolutely love to have that relationship with him, but to each his own, because I'm an amazing person and he missing out.
He's missing
out.
Haven't I said that?
That's on him, baby.
And that's the same way I feel about mine. You know, he doesn't want to be involved with me to the per se. And I say all the time, it's your loss. My life, look at me right
Still
here, right
going.
now.
Absolutely.
And, you know, maybe he needs to see, look how life is going on.
You can see it, but don't try to come back when it get real good.
And she say that.
It's finna get there.
We
Don't know me
Please
when I make
don't
it.
know me when I make it. Please,
Okay,
that's
please
right.
keep not remembering me.
Yes,
Keep that same
energy.
Please.
But it's the truth.
Absolutely.
So they ran into them in the store. What happened after that?
And then like he was just like, hey, how you doing? I was still terrified. I'm like,
Did he get upset because you?
no, he was. I mean, what can he say? I'm 18 now. I'm grown. You know, got my own apartment. I'm doing good. You know, and it was just like, I was just more so like, what's up, girl? You know, like I'm like, girl, what is you doing here? Like, what? My mom like, yeah, I told him you, and I'm like, this lady here, she has been trying to put us back together for years, and like I tell her, now she get it. Like she just stopped completely now, but like she used to do it for years, and he would only try to talk to me to keep tabs on my little sister because we always had a really good relationship. When she came back, like when they came back, we kept in touch. So me and her kept a good relationship, but see, she's so used to him to where I can't tell my trauma or what he did to me without her getting upset because that's her king.
Exactly.
You know, so
and then,
it just put me and her back, and like we don't talk right now because of him.
Okay.
And it's just like, girl, look, I'm not finna keep going back and forth with you, boo. I've been without you. I've been doing fine without you. I would love to have you as my, you know, as my family, my little sister, but
it
you
is
too
what it
stuck
is.
on him.
Exactly.
And I can tell you my story without you getting upset.
Exactly.
Right. I know stuff happened to you too, not by him, but you know, I know stuff happened to her too.
Exactly.
So.
And it's so funny, ironically funny again. This is similarity where we have because my father, my donor, he has multiple kids outside the fact, and I don't understand what it is. It must has to be the time frame or the time zone that our parents are coming from. 'Cause you know how it wasn't accepting all the above. And instead of loving on me, he tried to put us siblings against each other. You know, installing hate. You shouldn't like him. You shouldn't do that. And it is so ironically funny. So I'm definitely relating to a lot where you coming from right now.
Yeah. And so getting back to, you know, your childhood, so you were saying that you grew up in church. Now, after your great grandmother, right?
Yeah,
passed,
my grandmother passed.
Your
first.
grandmother passed. So you didn't go back to that church, so you went somewhere else, or you
I didn't go back to church for a minute.
Okay.
I eventually, like I said, I love the Lord, and I know, you know, He runs all through me. I love the music. I love it. Something about singing gospel music and hearing gospel music that puts me in an entirely different place. Like I can literally feel it through my body when I sing it. I get to sweating real bad, and
You get to
I
wanna do
close
the
my eyes
crazy
and exactly. And I be having to tell my girl, you better not break out in that crazy dance.
go on and hit the crazy dance. Go and step
But
one
you know,
time.
like it's just something about it that it couldn't keep me away. When I did come out the closet and I did go to church, because when I was in high school, all of us used to go to Fairview Baptist Church. They were so sweet. Lisa and Greg, they were so amazing. Shout out to Fairview Baptist. And they had this thing every Wednesday night where they would get all the kids to, like, they would pick you up in a minivan if you needed. They would travel wherever to pick you up, you know, so that you can come and attend this session every Wednesday. So that, you know, got me back into the church, but I was out, but I really wasn't out to my friends.
Okay.
So, like, you know, my mama knew, but I really, you know, well, actually, this was before I came out.
Okay.
So, people would, I could not hide the femininity. It was just oozing out of me. As hard as I tried to be masculine, it was just like, that girl, stop playing. You know, you're gay. Just stop. But I just didn't want to say I was gay. I could not say, you know.
It was something hard to actually say.
I could not do it. And I'm just like, these people already jump on me. They already beat me up. They already, you know, I wasn't a fighter. I was never that. I've always been a lover. I always want everybody to get along. That's always been me. But the streets turned me into this, you know, the savage. I had to be. I had to become that way to protect. Absolutely. After being beat on for so long, I used to think that it was normal. Like, oh, people supposed to beat on me. Oh, I'm supposed to let people just, like, people would try to fight me, and I would just ball up and sit there and let them. And then my mom said, "You not coming? I used to run home. Come on." I ran home this last time. She said, "You know what? I'm sick of these people messing with my baby. My baby don't bother nobody. Come on, you finna go out here and fight."
That's their
Now,
black
you can't go
mama.
out there and fight in front of your mama and lose.
No, you
'cause then
cannot.
you gonna get beat up
These are
again.
your options. You win or you get beat. These are
You
your
gonna
options.
beat him up, or I'm gonna beat you up.
And you don't want
That
that
guy
beat.
went out there and tore that boy up completely. And I said, "Oh, you know how to fight.
Say it wasn't no feminine deal,
You
was
know
it?
how to fight." after that, it was up. I was always in fight. It was like I got worse. My behavior was horrible. I can't even tell you why. I was just bad for no reason. And
do you think that was just all of that pent up aggression from you getting beat, like finally
angry.
coming out, like, okay,
angry.
I'm beating everybody else.
Yeah. Y'all can fight too. Y'all been messing with me for years. But like, I was extremely, extremely angry, and a lot of that came from my dad. I had to take, like, they put me in special ed because they was like, I had a behavior disorder, because they would say, why are you so bad? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, I couldn't tell them why I was acting like I was, because I honestly didn't know. I've never liked rules, you know, so I just felt like, do whatever you want to do, you know, and if they tell you no, then do whatever you want to do still, but somewhere else, you know, like I would get up and leave class and like you can't sing in here. Okay, well, I'm gonna go home and sing in where I can sing, and y'all ain't gotta bother me. So like, it was just me being so angry, and I took way too long dealing with all of that, like unpacking all of that trauma. I took way too long, because as I got older, it turned like I had took anger management class, and they was like, it's 7 steps of anger, and he was like, when you get upset, which one do you go to? And I said, baby, I skip every single one of them. Straight to rage. Straight to rage. And it's like, the things that I would think when I would get mad, like, you shouldn't be thinking that because somebody knocked your water over on the floor. I shouldn't be ready to cut somebody's throat because they knocked my water. You know, like, I would get enraged about the smallest things. It took for me to lose everything. Like, I was so friendly. I helped everybody. I always had people staying in my apartments. And, you know, I would get put out of my apartments because I got 15, 20 people staying in my apartments. All the, you know, homosexual kids, when they were young, their parents would put them out. I'm 18. I got my own place. They don't got nowhere to go. Well, come on, stay here with me. You ain't got to do nothing. Just go to school. And I'm going to make sure that you go to school. And that's all I need from you. Keep my house clean, go to school. But you can come and stay here. I got so many people that'll tell you, you changed, you saved my life, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, because I just felt like I didn't want to be what my daddy and my mama was to me. Even though my mama wasn't as bad as my daddy was, she still was kind of bad at the beginning. But now that's my girl. You know, I'm her daughter, and that's my girl. Period.
If you look at her
period. So, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought.
You know, speaking on what you just said about how you were opening your doors to a lot of the kids in the community, because we know that is a big thing. And that's something, church, y'all need to think about as well, because there are so many youth who are in the streets, and it may not be as prominent here in St. Louis, but when you go to places like Cali, New York, where the gay scene is so much larger, I mean, you have all the, once again, you want to bring in these souls, these people, but
that would be a good way to do it.
Absolutely.
You give some housing and showing, that's a way of showing love, drawing.
Charity.
You give me a shelter, you give me food and clothes. And now I have an ear to open and want to hear what you're talking about.
Exactly, because every last one of those people that spent time at my house, they are all thriving. All they needed was a little love.
That's
all.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Look, I'm talking about you. But no, seriously, like, all they needed was a little love and just somebody to understand them and not judge them. Like, how can you judge me for living my life? How can you judge me for doing stuff that been around before we was even born? Like, before you was even born. But this stuff been around, homosexuality, all of this stuff been around forever. Just like sex work, that been around for ever. And y'all still are judging.
I was gonna say, now you open the door.
Yeah, look.
Because I really want the people to get an understanding and be able to, you know, gauge in where we're coming from. So now talking about sex work, because we know in the transgender community that is a big thing.
Sex work in, I'll say, the LGBT community, period, is a big thing.
You ain't lying.
But as far as transgender women, it's really, really big, because a lot of people, sex work is big in the LGBT community. One, because you don't have to have nowhere to be to make the money. You can do it on the streets. You can, you know, you can walk the streets. You can post an ad. You can do whatever you want to do. And it's like, if you're getting put out, you need to survive. So the best thing that, you know, a person do is use what they got to get what they want. I need to survive, so let the survival mode kick in. It's very, very, very big in the LGBT community, and that's when I first found out. I found out about it in ballroom, actually. And my best friend passed away in 2010. He passed away from AIDS. After that, I just went like on a spiral. Like I just didn't care about nothing no more. Oh, you want to do drugs? Let's do it. Oh, I'm a sex worker. Let's sex work. You know, like I just started doing whatever. And back then I used to think it was bad, but now I think it's actually beautiful. Because it takes a lot to get out here and do stuff with random people, and you know, like to survive. Like that is very brave.
It is.
Very,
I was
brave.
thinking,
Especially having all of these different people come into your house. Oh my God! Like it's, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, oh my God, girl, you brave.
Very.
And we see how we know there's so many deaths in the transgender community because of sex work and all that.
Right.
And I would say it's not just because of sex work. It's just because people aren't comfortable with themselves. Like they will get caught up. And you know, some people do expose people, but for the most part, I feel like people put themselves in those situations because. Why would you mess with somebody like the one dude? I don't remember where he from, like North Carolina or something. He got shot up. He used to have a long lock, and he was known for just exposing people. He would record them and like literally expose them, and everybody knew about this dude, but dudes would keep coming to his house. So it's like, if you notice what he about, why do y'all keep, like, y'all want to be exposed,
making the choice.
but then he did it to somebody and they shot him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like more so I'm gonna cover up my tracks because I don't want my business to get out. Can't nobody tell me, I can't say that. 90% of the time today in 2022, these people know.
Oh, yes.
You know that
Most
I'm
definitely.
gay, you know that I'm transgender. Ain't nobody lying no more. For what?
I was
What are we
definitely
lying for?
Yeah.
It is a thrill in the sex working field. When you see how much money you get from being who you are, like the money that these white men
Just keep it real,
is
guys.
willing to pay a
just give
chick
an
with
example.
a stick. I'm gonna change the vocabulary, but a chick with a stick. The money that these men will pay to see that is beyond me. He was like, sit on my chest and just dump the ashes in my mouth. I'm like, I'm not doing that. He said, I have 1,200. I said, how fast can you get here? Like,
if you were to go to a church and they were using the wrong pronouns, that would turn you off.
I would
That
walk right up out of there.
Look to the camera when you say that.
Clean, smooth. If I could moonwalk out of there, I would. People didn't shun homosexuality as much as they did, it wouldn't be a lot of DL people no more. The people, they shun DL people or just homosexuality so much and so bad. That's why we have a lot of DL people. That's why we have a lot of HIV cases. Because a lot of DL men go and do this stuff behind their wives and girlfriends' back because they so scared to be who they are because of how society is going to make them feel for just living in their truth. If everybody accepted everybody for who they are and minded they mother in business, then it wouldn't be, you know, like
She didn't say it, y'all.